Welcome to Market Recap Live. I'm your host, Joseph Martin, and thank God it's Thursday. Man, I got these systems in place, but I'm coming right down to the wire every night getting these live streams up. I cannot wait till I have like a 10-minute breath of fresh air right before the stream start. I think I was like maybe 30 seconds late, but anyway, here we go. Tonight, we are taking a look at ticker NFLX. You might know them better as Netflix. Netflix Incorporated was founded in 1997 by Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, with the first office opening in Scotts Valley, California. Now, they are over a $450 billion publicly traded company in the movies and entertainment industry and the communications services sector. And they are listed in the S&P 500 index. Some of Netflix competitors are Walt Disney, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Paramount Global. We're going to review Netflix earnings, their website, and visit their charts to perform a quick technical analysis. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, and put an FB in the chat if you're tuning in from Facebook. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of their financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. And we are streaming Monday through Friday following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to these earnings. Let's get to the earnings. All right. Click, click, click. There we go. All right. Netflix, ticker symbol NFLX, the $455.11 billion company reported its first quarter 2026 earnings today. They have a 52-week high of $134.12, which took place June 30th, and a 52-week low of $75.01 that occurred February 23rd, which is a trading range of $59.11. And they closed today at $107.79. Netflix earnings report beat on the top line, reporting revenue of $12.25 billion, which was higher than the market expectations of $12.18 billion, and beat on the bottom line as strong subscriber growth and advertising expansion drove profitability. EPS was higher than the analyst and market expectations of 79 cents when they reported an adjusted EPS of $1.23. Netflix reported a GAAP net income of $5.28 billion, which was higher than the $2.89 billion net income they reported this same quarter last year, which represents an increase of 82.7%. So for the first fiscal quarter of 2025, their net profit was approximately 45.3% lower than it is compared to now a year later. The earnings were released after the market closed, followed by a 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time conference call. As far as guidance, management maintained full year revenue growth guidance of 12 to 14% and an operating margin of 31.5%. That 52-week high compared to today's closing price of $107.79 represents a decline of 19.6% over a span of approximately 10 months. So if someone invested $1,000 in June last year at that 52-week high of $134.12, they would be seeing a loss of $196. Yes, yes, yes. Now, we're going to do something new. My mouth is a little dry than what we normally do. As far as this, I want to start sharing other notable earnings. So a few other notable Market Recap Live earnings that were released today were PepsiCo Incorporated, ticker PEP, saw a gain of 2.28%, and Citizens Financial Group Incorporated, ticker CFG, had a loss of 1.2%. And both companies gave their announcements before the market opened. Now, moving on, let's talk about why we visit these companies' websites. We're looking at the visuals and the text to find answers to these key questions. What goods and or services does the company sell? How important are those goods and services to their customers? What makes this company stand out from the competition? And how well do they take care of their employees? To find those answers, we browse 4 key areas: the homepage for goods and or services, about us for purpose, vision, and mission statements, careers for employee benefits and opportunities, and investor relations for SEC filings and stock quotes. And for your convenience, all companies featured in tonight's live stream are down in the description. Now let's go back to Netflix's website. Let's go back to their website. Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. That's not it, is it? Not at all. Let me get this together. Okay. Boy, it's always something. I see what it is. This not turned on. There we go. And we don't need a ticker for this, so we're good. But we do need Netflix on the screen, so let me get that. One more try. There it is. So we got Netflix on the screen. We're on their website. Let's zoom in. That's not working because we on the wrong screen. Well, I'm telling you, I'll be getting close. I don't have everything together, but I'll be real close. We was running smooth till we went to their website. So we already know the goods and services. Netflix is a streaming service. We ain't gotta stress ourselves too much trying to figure that out. So we just gonna scroll over the homepage and see what we can find when it comes to the other things we look for. So let me take me off the screen. Let's see if this button works. Yes. Okay. So what we're looking for is the about us. The about us. I see investors relations. I see jobs. So that's what we want to see as far as like careers. Terms of Netflix house. Guys, I don't see anything about us on here. So I'm not sure if Netflix even has a vision, mission, and purpose. As far as statements, maybe it's going to be in the jobs. Like I said, sometimes it shows up in the career section, but let me put me back on the screen. So let's just go over the jobs. Join a star-studded ensemble. I'm scrolling. Wow. Guys, look at this. As I'm scrolling, instead of it going up and down, it's going in and out. I've never seen this before on a scroll. You see that? The scroll is actually going in and out. This is crazy. They got a bunch of visuals on here. So this ain't what I'm used to. I'm used to scrolling through stuff to find what we looking for. And this is crazy. I'm scrolling and it's not going up and down the page. We'll be all day. The link for the website for Netflix is down in the description so you can look for whatever you want to see on their website on your own. You probably already have a Netflix account. It's very popular for streaming services. I think they say YouTube is very high because people are starting to watch YouTube from their living room on their television. So we'll be screaming all day. I mean, scrolling all day. I'm trying to see what I can find. And if they're going to have this like this, here's where you can view roles. Let me see only at Netflix. Let me see what that does. So this culture memo. All right. Careers. Oh, gosh. So here's all the, this looks like the streaming platform. Like all these look like the thumbnails for the videos and stuff. They don't have no different ideas. Like, you know, these ain't videos we watching. These people looking for jobs. They ain't looking for videos. Why they got this set up like the other thing? So locations. All right, this drove me crazy. We can move on. Let me see down at the bottom. Nope, let's go back to Netflix, take us back to the main page. No, because they still got us in Netflix jobs. So how do we even go back to where we were? Close this out. Oh my goodness. It says scroll to explore. Back. There we go. All right. So blow this back up. And now we're gonna go to I'm tired of the website already. Let's go to investors relations. And here go the stock information right here. So Netflix trades on the NASDAQ, ticker NFLX, which we already know. Now we're looking for the stock quote. Let's zoom in. That's the 150, just in case you're looking on a small screen. Look at the top, financial stock info. Stock info is right here at the top. Also, usually if you see it down on a page, this is usually clickable, but it looks like it's not on Netflix website. I scroll down and see what other options or clickable things they have. So right here, you can also access the stock information. I'm gonna click this one. So here's the stock quote information. I don't see a chart. So here's the chart. You access that from the top. So here's the chart that they have available on their website. And they also have other investment tools that they offer on the website. The historical stock quote and an investment calculator. Remember, the link for Netflix is down in the description for your convenience. So let's go ahead and go over here so I can give you the disclaimer. Let's go over here. Bam. Okay. All right. Before we look at the charts, remember, professionals trade from a computer, not a mobile device. Okay. Wait a minute. Not a mobile device. Mobile trading apps are limited. Traders lose critical detail and advanced platform features on a mobile screen. So be advised, trading from a phone is usually the least effective way for managing assets. To see every detail, use a full trading platform and watch these streams on a computer or TV. Only use a phone as a last resort. Now let's look at the charts for Netflix. Bam. We rolling now. This is not who we looking at right now. NFLX. It didn't even let me do it. Let me go over to here. Symbol box, NFLX. Pull up Netflix. We go over to the charts. And here we are. We are looking at a 1-year daily chart for Netflix. And glancing at this area right here, I cannot zoom in. So if you're looking on a phone or something, this might be hard for you to see. But right here, you see a B and an A, the bid and the ask. So Netflix released their earnings after the market closed. And after they had earnings, even though they had positive earnings, which I've talked about before, they beat on the top line and they beat on the bottom line. So technically, the earnings were good, but the stock price dropped on the earnings. So you can see that right here. They closed at $107.79, but right now they are trading for $97.60 on the bid and $97.63 on the ask. So they dropped after the earnings released after market. Now, here's what I see as far as the technicals on the chart. They did a split. Netflix did a 10-for-1 split right here on this date. So that was November 17th. So for every share you had, they gave you 10 shares. So if it was worth $1,000, for example, now you had 10 shares that were worth $100. So split doesn't give you more money just because you get more shares. They spread the value out over the shares if it's a split. So they gave you 10 shares for 1 share. When that split happened, it started to sell off. The next week it went up. The next day, I'm sorry, these are daily candles. The next day it went up, and then it's basically been trending down ever since that split. Right here in this area, I'm going to draw a zone. They started to trend sideways right here in this zone. So they were trending down. Then they found an area of support. So let me zoom in. I'll put a little line for support there so we can see where the support was. I would say the support was right here on this candle. And this isn't the right tool. So let me get the right tool. Here's the support. So we're going to go right here on this candle. So that was the support at $75.30. That's where it found support and it started to trend sideways. Then it gapped up from February 26th to February 27th. Here's a gap or a window, which we talk about from time to time. Now, when I zoom out, it came back down and it looks like it tested this area as support right here in this area. Let me zoom in. So right here in this area, it tested the top of the gap or the top of the window as support. And then it's been trending up since then. So here's the 9 simple day moving average, the dashed green line. And here's the 200-day simple moving average, the dashed white line. So it looks like that Netflix is in an uptrend on the daily chart. We're looking at a 1-year daily chart. And here's where it found support recently after it started downtrending following that 10-for-1 stock split. So if I'm looking for resistance on this chart, I would say the resistance I'm looking for is the 200-day simple moving average, which is where it's trading at around now. But after the market closed, it has fell. So now if we look at where the 9 is trading at, the price is around 97.55 right now. So that would be here. Let me put a line on here, 97.55. I probably won't be able to get it exactly on it. So I'm gonna just put a line there. We can open it and make it exact. So I go to edit properties and then put in 97.55. So that'll make it exact. So this is where the price is right now. This is after hours. So matter of fact, I'll teach you this too. So we can rename it right here. So we can put after hours on earnings. All right. So we know what we're looking at. So this is where the price is right now after hours on earnings. I'll pull this over so you can read it. So that's where the price is now. So if we look at where the price is roughly now, the stock is back below the 9 simple day moving average and the 200-day simple moving average. So because of that, this is going to be resistance. The 200-day simple moving average and this 108.95. So if I was to draw this as a zone, I'm looking at resistance here. So here's my technical perspective on this. This area here is going to be resistance for this stock. We want to see it move above this zone and hold. That's what I would like to see in order for me to believe that it's resuming the uptrend. My personal analysis on this. Okay, so let's do the stock quote for Netflix. So I'm going to go here and cut on the floating data box. We're going to mouse over today's candle. So Netflix opened at, I can't even see you guys. I don't even know what happened over here. Hold on. Hold on. I couldn't even see you. Wait a minute. All right, I can see now. So Netflix opened at $107.47. They had a high of $108.95, and they had a low of $106.62, and they closed today at $107.79, which was a trading range of $2.32. And when we look at the trading volume, they traded 64.9 million shares of this stock today. But we need to judge that based off the average of what Netflix usually trades. So let me take me off the screen and this floating data box so it'll be cleaner when we look. So we're looking right over here at the average volume. So Netflix usually trades 40.7 million shares in a trading session for the day. So we can definitely tell that this 64.9 million shares they traded today was higher than average. Yesterday was slightly below average. So we do see increasing volume. And we know that on earnings, before earnings, and right after, a stock usually sees increased trading volume because of the earnings. So we have that. Now we're going to look at the volume rank percentile. So it was in the 91.7%. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 21 days had higher volume than today. So that's what we see going on with Netflix. And boy, oh boy, did I put a lot of lines on here. Let me take this off because I don't want to come back to it. And we have that there. And I'm like, what are all these lines? Okay. We're good with that. So let's move on. The chat is good. Prop go here. Back to the community. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description, as well as the ticker on the screen. Okay, let's look at what the S&P 500 index did today by using the SPY ETF. This ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the S&P. Wait a minute. I tried to be smooth and got sidetracked pushing the button. Wait a minute. This ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the S&P 500 index by tracking its performance. Now let's look. Oh no, I'm moving on. Wait, I went too fast. Let's go. Let's go over here to the SPY. Put that back on the screen. Did we even? I hope I had the ticker for Netflix label up on the screen, because if somebody peeked in, they had no idea what we were looking at. Right up here in the symbol box, SPY. Okay, I'm seeing a doji. I'm seeing a doji. So that's technical analysis talk. This formation right here on this candle is a spinning top. That's another name they call it, a spinning top or a doji. Yeah. And it's got less volume, but we're looking at an ETF, and I talked about that. But it's still above, it's still trading above this support zone we drew on the chart using these previous price levels on the 1 year daily chart for this ETF. It's still trading above the 200-day simple moving average and the 9-day simple moving average. And with today being Thursday, it's been green. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's just been going up. And this was last week, starting with Wednesday. So it had gapped up from Tuesday to Wednesday. And it's just been going up. So personally, I would be a little cautious, especially with how this did what it did. We do have one more day left for the closing of this week's candle. So right now we're looking at a daily chart. If I was to change this to a weekly chart, let me pull this over so we can get a view of this. Right now, when we look at the weekly chart, the week candle, if it was to close today, like if today was the end of the week, then this would be that candle closing above support. But since we have one more trading session this week, we got to see what Friday is going to do. So Friday could have this candle fall below this support, which would cause it to become resistance, because this needs to close above this support resistance zone. So right now, as of Thursday on this weekly candle, this is support. But if it doesn't hold on Friday, this means that it's still meeting resistance at this area. So we definitely want to keep an eye on what happens with the SPY on Friday. So now let's talk about the volume. The volume on this is extremely low, but we'll cover the volume after we do the ETF quote. So here we go. The SPY opened at $701.06. They had a high of $702.78. They had a low of $698.53. And they closed today at $701.66, which was a trading range of $4.25. When we look at the trading volume for this ETF today, they traded 49.9 million shares of this ETF today. Now we need to see what the average trading volume is for this ETF. So we're going to go over here. Let me take off the floating data box. So the average trading volume for this is 76.7 million. So this is definitely lower than average. Not only is it lower than average, it's lower than yesterday's volume. So on Wednesday, that was below average, but it was 58.2 million shares of this ETF traded on Wednesday, yesterday. So you have decreasing volume. Less people are trading this ETF as it's increasing. As the price is increasing, less people are trading this ETF. And now when we look at the volume rank percentile, it's extremely, extremely low. That's what I was giggling at. So it's 5.6%. So which means out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 14 days had lower trading volume than today. So it seems like a lot of people are not interested in trading this ETF at these price levels. That's what it's telling us. Like, nah, I don't think I want to trade it up here. So that's something to keep an eye on as far as the technicals. From my technical perspective, that's what I'm looking at, that I'm paying attention to. So it's not just the levels. I'm concerned about the volume that I'm seeing. The volume isn't convincing to me to see that people are interested at trading it at these price levels. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on. Now, let's look at today's winners and losers. We can take the SPY ticker off. We already did. We got the like on there. We got the like on there. Let me slow down. Let me slow down. I thought I didn't have my like up there. There we go. Now let's look at today's winners and losers. First, we're going to take a look at the loser so we can end the night on a high note. And I have a big announcement at the end of this live stream. So I appreciate you for sticking around. And I got two big announcements for you at the end of this live stream. So let's go ahead and move on to today's loser. So we go over here. Let's go to Market Watch. Got the ticker on the screen. We got SPY back up here. Can I buy Netflix tomorrow morning, you think? I got your chat. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull you on the screen and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Take SPY off. We're talking about the loser. Here's that. So today's loser is Charles Schwab. Let me take this comment. Acaro, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I can read 11, so I'm going to go by 11. Can I buy Netflix tomorrow morning, you think? You have to make that decision on your own. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what you can and cannot do as far as my end. With earnings and things that's going on, I wouldn't, me personally, I myself wouldn't do it. I can't recommend what you can and cannot do or if it will work for you because I can't guarantee which way it will go or anything like that. That's a decision you really gonna have to make on yourself. But I do appreciate the comment. All we can do is look at the charts and try to figure out ourselves what works best for us. What do we think as individuals? Everybody has an opinion about what they think is gonna do. There's no way for us to guarantee it either way. So let me put this back on the screen. Thank you for the comment. Schwab. So Schwab lost 7.63% today. And they closed at $100.27. The previous close was $100.27. And today they closed at $92.62, which was a 7.63% loss. So if someone had invested $1,000 and suffered from that 7.63% loss, they would have lost $76.30. So if we negate that and add the $1,000 investment capital back to it, they would be sitting with $923.70 from that investment. So that's what's going on with Schwab. Let's take a deeper dive look at them and their company, which is the platform we're actually using right now. And I'm not affiliated by them if you've read that. So let's go over to analyze. So ticker SCHW, they are in the financial sector. So let me take me off the screen. And we're looking at the company profile. Here's the name. The official name of the company is the Charles Schwab Corporation. Here's their website. And the link for their website is also down in the description for your convenience. So let's read the details right here. The Charles Schwab Corporation, together with its subsidiaries, operates as a savings and loan holding company that provides wealth management, securities brokerage, banking, asset management, custody, and financial advisory services in the United States and internationally. I'm not going to read all that. Just wanted to give you a quick overview of it. So let's go ahead and go to their website. All right. There we go. Let's zoom in. Boom, boom, boom. We have 150. So here's Charles Schwab's website. Again, I am not affiliated by them, but you already know I use their services. And this is the company that owns the Thinkorswim platform that we use on the Market Recap Live. So we're browsing for the information. Here it is. So about Schwab right here in this area. This says market hour. Let's change that. We need to update that. That's talking about the wrong thing. Live stream 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We need to be showing this one. This is what we need to be showing. Okay. So why Schwab? Compare us. Let's go to why Schwab. 50 years, we've had one focus. You putting clients first has been our mission from day one. Okay. So who is this? 50 years ago when many competitors, I'm browsing over it because I'm trying to see what I want to read. Remember, the links are down in the description for your convenience if you want to pull the site up and read specific things for yourself. I'm browsing over it. I'm trying to find something that jumps out at me that talks about the mission statement, the purpose, mission statement, purpose, and vision statement. I'm looking for a specific area that says that, and I do not see it. So here are a few things that I do know about Charles Schwab. You don't need any money to open up an account. So some people are discouraged when it comes to opening up financial accounts because they're used to just dealing with banks. So banks usually have a deposit minimum for you to be able to open up an account. But Charles Schwab, zero. You don't need any money to open up an account with them. You just got to take the time to do it. The other thing is, what's the other thing? It was something important. Give me a second. It'll come to me. Oh, the platform. So the Thinkorswim platform, I believe, don't quote me on it, but do your research, that you can use the Thinkorswim platform for free with a guest pass or something like that for 30 days. So remember, it's free to open an account and then you'll have access to the platform. But if you didn't want to open up the account and use the Thinkorswim platform, you can do that on a guest pass for 30 days. And then after that, you would need to open an account to get access to it again. Also, what I like about Charles Schwab is that they have 24/7 customer service, 24/7. And it's a real person. I've had awesome customer experience with using Charles Schwab anytime I had an issue. And they offer, well, they used to. I can't verify if they do it now, but they have a lot of different services where they can help you walk through certain things that they offer on their website. So that's the why Schwab. Now I'm looking for employees, things like that. Here's under learn, they have insights and education. So I do know they have some courses on here that you can take or educational things like that. I don't see anything on here about employees. Let me look at the top and see if I'm missing something. Contact us, why Schwab, learn pricing, advice accounts. Go back here. I don't see anything about jobs, careers. Seems like everything on here is geared towards the client. Get information while talking about putting it at your job, at your place of business, so you can offer it to your employees. Yeah, guys, I don't see it. So I don't even see investors relations. Wow. So here's the trading platform section right here. Trading platforms. And then Schwab also offers like a banking service. It operates like a checking account. So let me take me off the screen. We do not need this ticker right here. I don't know why I got that up. And we got Netflix up here. That don't need to be up here. Boy, we all over the place, ain't we? Schwab is the loser. All right, now take me off the screen. Okay. So trading platform. So this is where you can get the Thinkorswim platform. Let me put me back on the screen. I'm so used to having a ticker up when we looking at anything Charles Schwab. I had the disclaimer up. So here we go. This is the Thinkorswim platform. You can either download it to your computer or you can use it on, here's the mobile version, and you can use it on the web. This is the web version, so you don't have to actually install it on your computer. Then you can compare the different platforms, what you get with Thinkorswim. So they talk about the different things that come with it. Here's the education they have built into the platform. So they talk about the commission and costs right here. I'm browsing this because I can't find the other stuff we usually look for. So I don't see the investors relations. I don't see the jobs, careers, and things like that. So that's why I looked over those, and I'm looking for a second time. Okay, that's all I got. So let's go ahead and go to the Thinkorswim platform so we can actually look at this as an investment. Look at the ticker. Let's look at what's going on with the company. So hit this. All right. So go over to the charts. Ooh, remember, I always get, when I see those big red candles, I can't help it. I'll be like, ooh, and I knew that was the loser. Still, it hurt when I see it. It hurts. So we're looking at the 1 year daily chart. And I'm seeing zones with this. I'm seeing zones. So let me go ahead and hurry up and draw this. And I'm blocking it. So let me take me off the screen so you can see what I'm looking at. I'm seeing zones, and my zone is starting right over here. This area right here. That's my zone. I'm bringing it over. And I'm going to show you why I picked that as the zone. I don't see a straight line. So I see a support and resistance zone. So if you follow the market recap lives, you'll see sometimes we use lines, sometimes we use zones, and there's different reasons that we do this. So the reason why I'm doing that is because when we look over here, this area was tested with wicks with this candle, but it didn't close inside of it. It stayed below that resistance area. You got a wick that comes to it, goes into it, and then these candles are inside the zone. Then it comes out of the zone. This wick comes back down and tests the zone, but it doesn't come all the way back down to the bottom. So imagine if I just used the bottom as a line, this wouldn't have tested that. But because I used the zone, this makes it where this tests that zone. Same thing here. These wicks test that zone, but if we just had put a line, it didn't come down to that line. These came down to the bottom line of the zone, but this one didn't. That's why I'm using a zone. Same thing is happening here. This candle, we're down here now. This candle wick tested the zone. This candle wick tested the zone. So that's why I'm seeing this as a zone versus just a line. As far as trending, it looks like this has been trending sideways for a while. So I'm gonna show you what I'm seeing. I see this also as more of a zone. And if I will, let's say it's going to be here. Yeah, this is going to be the zone. So I'm going to bring this all the way over to here. This is going to be resistance now, because this is where the price action is now. This is what I'm seeing from my technical perspective. So it peaked outside of this zone right here. So when it was above it, it was support. When it came back below it, it became resistance. So it couldn't get back above it here, came back down, and it caught the previous resistance, became support. Then this is resistance, still didn't make it through, kind of peaked out with the wicks, but it wasn't able to close above it, came back down. Now here is where it came out, and when it came back to test it, it fell right through it. Came out of it again, and it fell right back through it. And it fell back through it on earnings. Oh, yeah, on earnings. So Schwab had earnings today as well. So I didn't mention them earlier as far as like the notable mentions of earnings, but Schwab had earnings today. So here's where we're going to be looking for the stock quote. So that's our quick technical analysis on Charles Schwab. We can see the 52-week high was here on February 10th at $107.50. So it looks like it spends most of its time trading within this zone right here. It spent a little bit of time out of it here. That's about 2 months. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's been spending about 7 months within that trading zone. And it fell right back into it today on earnings. And it looks like, if I mouse over this, it beat. Yep, it beat on the EPS. But I can't see the revenue. But it beat on the EPS. The earnings per share, it beat. So if we just looked at that as good news, it still went down. Still went down, even with the good news on the beat. So let's talk about the stock quote for this. So let's pull up our floating data box, mouse over it. Here we go. So Schwab opened today at $95.76. They had a high of $98.75, and they had a low of $91.92, and they closed today at $92.62, which was a trading range of $6.83. And the trading volume was 27.8 million shares of Schwab was traded today. And when we look at this average, guys, let's look at the average volume of what it usually gets. So Schwab's average trading volume is 9.2 million. This is not something that usually gets traded frequently compared to the other stocks that we look at and in the S&P 500. This actually has a low average for trading volume. And yesterday, their trading volume was roughly around average, but today it was almost 3 times the average. And when we look at the volume rank percentile, this is a big tail right here. It was in the 99.6%, which meant out of the most recent 252 trading days, only one day had higher volume than today. So it was a lot of people interested in selling this stock today, as well as buying it, because you can't sell without somebody buying. But because of the price direction, it seems like people were more inclined to sell on the bid versus buying on the ask. So you had motivated sellers. That's what that means. People were motivated to sell. They wanted to sell. And that's what drove this price down on high volume. So it was convincing that they wanted to get down, wanted to get out, and they were willing to take a little L on it to get out of there. So that's what we see on Schwab. So let's move on to the winner, the biggest winner for today. So the winner is Albemarle, ticker ABL. Let's put them on the screen. Now, here's one of the big announcements. We covered this company before, guys, and we learned some very, very interesting stuff about this company. So that's a little hint. But let's talk about what happened today. So the previous close was $185.38. Today, they closed at $215.62, which caused this to be a 16.31% gain. So if someone had invested $1,000, they would have got an ROI of $163.10, which would have grown that $1,000 investment to $1,163.10. Okay. I'm gonna speed up a little bit because I want to make sure that we cover a few things before we go. So selected this, we're going to go over to analyze. So Albemarle is in the materials sector, ticker ALB. Let me take me off the screen. So when we look right here, Company profile, Albemarle Corporation. Here's their website. The link for their website is also down in the description for your convenience. Let's read a little bit of the details. Albemarle Corporation provides energy storage solutions worldwide. It operates through 3 segments: energy storage, specialties, and Ketgen. The energy storage segment offers lithium compounds, including lithium carbonate, lithium hydroxide, and lithium chloride for use in lithium batteries used in consumer electronics and electronic vehicles. I'm going to stop right there. So let's go ahead and visit their website. And they are the winner for today. So we go ahead and click this right here. Bam, that's Albemarle. Let me take that ticker off the screen. Put the ticker back. There's our label. So here's their website. Albemarle. We transform essential resources into critical ingredients. Now, this company, guys, is very, very, very interesting. So they talk about how many employees they have around the globe. They talk about how many patents they have. Now, if you don't understand a little bit about patents, I'm going to share with you what I've learned a little bit about patents. Patents mean that they control the rights to whatever they had that patent on. And if it's an important patent, meaning that in order for other businesses to function, they need to use whatever that patent protects, then they have to pay to be able to use it. Like, they get rights. They have to pay to be able to, like licensing or something like that. So this is the number of countries that they serve. So this is one of their facilities in the United States. And I'm not going to really go over this because I got a surprise for you. We just browsing over it. The links are in the description if you want to read over and look at this on your own time. I'm not going to give away the goods and services this time in this one because of the surprise. So who we are, let's go to the vision, mission, purpose. Every day we work to create a more resilient world where both people and planet can thrive. They showed us this before. So the hint right here with these pictures is that the resource that they provide is relevant to each one of these things. So earlier in the beginning of the live, when we talk about how important are the goods and services to their customers, that's a very important question. This one is extremely important. This deals with healthcare. This deals with connections and communications, power grids, and the automotive industry. So this is a very important good that they provide. Okay, very important. So they talk about the sales. So R&D stands for research and development. So this helps companies grow and get ahead of the curve of changes. Because if a company doesn't evolve with the times, they may become irrelevant. So this company invests into research and development so they can keep up with the evolving changes of what's going on. So let's look for careers. Here it is right here. Let me take me off the screen so you can see it right here. Careers. You can read this on your, are you a student or recent graduate? So they have opportunities for that. Here are the careers. I'm looking for the benefits. Wow. Look at the number of awards. Over 2,500 awards. Outstanding. Here go to okay. Outstanding benefits. Learn more about our benefits. They made it easy to find, didn't they? Let me put me back on the screen. They made me excited. It made this easy. I ain't have to work that hard to try to find it. They found it. Wait a minute. What am I pushing? Everything coming up but what I want to come up. We found the benefits. So learn more about the benefits. Here we go. Are they going to go into details about it? Yes. Yes. So they lay out Let me take me off the screen. No, I ain't gonna take me off the screen. I'll scroll a little slow. Remember, the links are down in the description so you can follow where I'm looking at. But I love the fact that they put the benefits right here. You can see what it is. They don't wait till you apply for the job and got you in the interview before they tell you what they offer you. So that's cool. That's cool. All right. Now let's go to the investors relations down at the bottom. It should be at the bottom unless they took us to a different web. Investors. They got me blocking it again. Monitor. Here we go. Investors. Investors relations. Zoom in. Nope. I don't have to zoom in. We don't need 200%. Put me back on the screen. So here's the ticker. Here's the closing price for today. The amount of money they went up and the percentage change, which we already looked at. So I want to get the full stock quote and see what tools they have. So we go up to the top, financials, no, stock info right here. So with the stock info, here's the stock quote. Here's the chart that they offer on the website. We're doing pretty good on time, guys. We got about 9 minutes left to 12 o'clock. Appreciate you for tuning in. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already, and please consider subscribing. All right, so that's the tools they offer. All right, so we wrapped up on the website. So let's go back over to Think or Swim. We already have our Albemarle pulled up, so we can go to the charts, do a quick technical analysis. Now, we already looked at this company before, like I said. Now, when we looked at this company, we looked at it when the price was right here. We did a market recap live where Albemarle came up on this day right here. So that was March 23rd. And we had drew this as support because the price was above it. It has not came back down to this price level since March 20th. And that's what we drew on a chart as support. But I did not draw resistance, as you can see. But if I was going to put resistance, I would have put it right here. And I'm about to explain why. These levels came to it, and this level rested on it. But we probably would have did a zone. Nah, we wouldn't have did a zone. I would have did it that way because it gapped down, and these 3 candles identified that specific point. But it hasn't came back down to that $100.55 since that day we covered it, because we covered it on the 23rd. So it never came back down to this area for support. So it's still trading above the 200-day simple moving average and above the 9-day simple moving average, the dashed green line. And boy, oh boy, did they have some volume today, and they pushed up through that resistance. And then even if you would have used this previous high as resistance, it still got through that today. And there wasn't any earnings or anything like that today. Like when we looked at Charles Schwab and when we looked at Netflix, they had earnings with their volume, right? This company didn't have earnings today. And we can see that because it's not down here. So let's go over the stock quote. We really don't have to do any technical analysis with this because I don't see anything that's really changed since the last time we've looked at it, besides the fact that it's broken through where we would have put resistance at over here. So let's pull up the floating data box and talk about the stock quote for Albemarle. So Albemarle opened at $191. They had a high of $215.71. They had a low of $189.36, and they closed today at $215.62, which is a trading range of $26.35. So when we look down at the volume, they had 5.6 million shares of this company traded today. Now, remember, when we just looked at Charles Schwab, their average was around 9 point something million, if I'm not mistaken. Now, if this one had a 92% rank percentile when it comes to volume, then their average has to be much lower than 9, which we see it right here. So let me take me off the screen so you can see it. Their average trading volume for this stock is 3.4 million shares in a day. And even this isn't even double. This is 5.6. Double would have been 6, at least 6. So double would have been 6.8. It's not even double, and it's in the 92.5 percentile, volume rank percentile. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, only 19 days had higher volume than today. And the previous volume was even lower. So the volume on Wednesday was only 1.2 million shares of that stock was traded on Wednesday. So it was way below average yesterday. And today it was above average. So it definitely has increasing volume. Look at the volume bars right here. I would say about 4 or 5 of those can fit into today's volume. Of course. Because if it's 1 million, and then that's 5 of those will fit in there if I'm rounding it off. So yeah, Albemarle is moving. It is moving. All right. So I have some announcements to give. So let's go ahead and go here. We did the quick technical analysis. We got about 4 minutes left. Oh, anyway, we're going to make it happen. So here's one of the announcements. I did a whole video on Albemarle where I go into deep detail, or way more detail than we did tonight, about why that company is so important to us in the United States as consumers, as a country. Like, it's a big deal. It's a very, very big deal. So I'm gonna have that as the watch next, as the end screen at the end of the live stream. And I'm glad that you're here. I want to celebrate by making this announcement. Tonight was my 300th upload. Tonight was officially my 300th video uploaded that you guys can see on YouTube on this channel. And that's a huge, huge personal accomplishment for me. So I'm glad that you were here to share that with me. And if you watching this at a different time, thank you guys so much. All of your comments, all of the views, all of the likes, the dislikes, the shares, any type of engagement, any type of support, or anything that you've done has been extremely helpful, because this is definitely a journey. It's not easy, but it is definitely worth it. So I really love and appreciate you guys. So let's go ahead and wrap up tonight. You already know. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you earned something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. If you haven't done so already, make sure you check out the whole life insurance link I have down in the description. And make sure you tune in weekdays following a market trading session at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. End screen is going to be Albemarle. Albemarle. If it's not there, Albemarle. Am I pronouncing it right? Why all of a sudden I'm messing up? Anyway, that's going to be the watch next video. And if it's not there, I'm going to have it down in the description, because we're running late tonight. I probably might not have it there yet. So I'm going to hurry up and put that in there. So take care and God bless. We still live. Duke of Foxborough. I don't know when you left this comment. I done ended the stream and everything, and then I saw it. So I done came all the way back. Thank you so much, Duke of Foxborough. Thank you so much, man. I'm telling you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope that that's you up there, so you can see that I pulled this up here. I didn't hear the ding. I got this set where it's supposed to give me an alert where I can hear it, so I don't miss these comments. But thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care, and God, we for real this time. Take care. And God bless.